Welcome, everybody, to All About Articulation, where we do a deeper dive into the articulation of some of your favorite action figures while glossing over things like sculpt, paint apps, character history, accessories, because I suck at that, and there are already so many great reviews on YouTube who do that already, so I don't want to waste your time. Alright, today we're going to review the Valaverse Action Force version 2 Sergeant Slaughter figure. And that's that dude standing right in the middle over here. This is my first Valaverse figure. I'm new to Action Force. Action Force, I believe, is a new created wave, kind of like G.I. Joe line of figures, like military with good guys versus bad guys. Very, very similar to G.I. Joe vs. Cobra. And they scale very well with your G.I. Joe 6-inch classified figures. And they first came out a couple of months ago, and it kind of took the collecting community by storm. I was hearing great things about it, checking out all the different reviews, and specifically paying very close attention to the articulation. And then I started to hear all this great stuff about how good the articulation was, and also they scale very well with the classifieds. So I'm like, okay. And being any kid who grew up in the 80s, who was a huge G.I. Joe fan or wrestling fan, I mean, how do you not have a Sergeant Slaughter in your collection, right? So I said, okay, I'm going to get the Sergeant Slaughter figure. Again, I don't have the other Valaverse Action Force figures, but I kind of, just based on the promo pictures and what I've seen online, they're all kind of similar, use very similar parts, very similar molds. And if they're anything like this guy, which I'm sure they are, it's a home run. I'm definitely going to pick up some more. I've already pre-ordered this other guy named Trigger. This is the card that comes in the back. Can you see that? So this is the second Sergeant Slaughter figure that they released. The first one, he had a jacket on, and I don't think you can remove the jacket itself, well, not the arms anyway. This was the look that I wanted. This is the look. Once I saw that they were going to release this one with just the black tank top, I said, done. And he does not disappoint. So this guy is just perfect. In terms of okay, before I get to the articulation, there was a lot of talk about how well does he scale with the classifieds, and just in terms of G.I. Joe in general. And a lot of people said that he doesn't scale large enough. And I just want to kind of dispel some of those criticisms. I mean, listen, if you don't think he's big enough, then that's fine. But for the record, Sergeant Slaughter, aka Robert Remus, that was his real name, he wasn't a big dude. Wrestling back in the day, they fudged a lot of numbers. Hulk Hogan was listed at 6'6", 6'7". Andre the Giant was listed at 7'2", and there are pictures online. If you don't believe me, just Google it. They were not that tall. He was listed at 6'6", Robert Remus. He was not. Okay? Just in terms of scale and comparison, Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, two, of course, Hall of Fame. Michael Jordan was listed at 6'6". Charles Barkley, and there are pictures all over the internet of the two of them standing together, playing together. They were eye to eye. Top of the head to top of the head, shoulder to shoulder. A lot of people said that Charles Barkley was really closer to 6'4". Let's split the difference. Let's call them both 6'5". And there are pictures of Barkley standing next to Hulk Hogan, who is supposedly 6'6", and Barkley is clearly taller than Hulk Hogan. So if you want to say Barkley is 6'5", and then generously say Hulk Hogan 6'4", then there are also pictures of Hulk Hogan, being a wrestler from the 80s, we're doing a lot of promos and shots and pictures next to Robert Remus, aka Sergeant Slaughter, where Hogan towers over him. So, Robert Remus, Sergeant Slaughter, generously, you'll say he's 6'3". Generously, he's probably closer to 6'2" in real life. Okay. Now, Roadblock, of course, is a fictional character. He's not a real person. There's no pictures of an actual Roadblock. But according to things that I've seen online, he's listed at 6'8", or a 6'6", 6'6" and 6'8". So this guy's 6'2", and he's 6'8". That's a perfect scale. All right, dude was 6'2", dude was about 6'8". He's somewhere maybe a little shorter than Roadblock, and he's taller than these two guys. I'm happy. That's what I'm saying. And just one other thing is that I decided to leave. He comes with a bunch of accessories, bunch of hands I left on the side. I'm not going to swap out the hands. It's going to take too much time. He comes with a vest. He comes with this harness that I decided to leave off for this review because I want you guys to get a full sense of his full articulation without anything hindering him. He comes with his backpack, which plugs in, and it goes in really nice and tight and stays there, which I think JoJo Classifieds could take a page out of this book, because a lot of times you put the backpacks on these classified figures and just pop right off. Like the second you touch them, it just slips right out. This stays in, this goes in, and it stays in. Love that. Just love that. Anyway, he comes with 2 guns. And yeah, we gloss over accessories here, so I'm not going to go too much, but I'm not going to ignore accessories. I'm just going to gloss over it, you know what I mean? He's got the gun here, beautiful gun. He's got this grenade launcher that he can hold, and it looks spectacular. Put that in there. I mean, just look at this guy. That's Sergeant Slaughter, dude. That's Sergeant Slaughter. A couple of small critiques. Just a couple of small critiques. He comes with 2 hats, which is fine. This to me is never coming off, because this is Sergeant Slaughter to me. This is 1980s G.I. Joe with the black tank top, military fatigue pants, Sergeant Slaughter. And the sunglasses, they are removable. And you get to look at his beautiful little face there. One small critique is that these sunglasses are very, very fragile. And it just seems like the band, the sides are they might snap off. They're very soft, so it's not brittle. That's good. But I'm just worried that something bad's going to happen. And another thing is that they're very loose, and they don't stay on here. Let me show you what his head looks like without the hat. They go on, but they don't stay on. And any slight movement, they'll come right off. So I didn't want to do this before I did the review, but I think what I'm going to do is, since Sergeant Slaughter to me is always the brimmed hat, the sunglasses, I'm probably going to get some sort of adhesive. Oh, see? Where'd it go? There it is. I'm probably going to get some sort of adhesive and just, I don't know, either a little bit of a hot glue and just glue that on there. Something non-permanent adhesive, like maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe some tacky, something like that I can remove it if need be. Hot glue would work. I'm probably going to just a drop of hot glue there behind the ear, and just a drop of hot glue there behind that ear, and hopefully it stays on. And okay, please don't fall. Yeah, I didn't want to do that before I did this review, because I want you guys to see just how kind of loose that is. The hat goes on, but this to me is Sergeant Slaughter right there. 80s perfection, Sergeant Slaughter. Boom, perfect. All right, we're gonna get to the articulation now. The articulation, in a nutshell, it's just fantastic. Fantastic, home run, just absolute home run. You know, Valaverse. I don't work for Valaverse. I'm not affiliated with Valaverse. They're not paying for this. They didn't send me no free figures. I'm just saying, this is just absolutely great. The head goes all the way back that far. It goes all the way down. It is on a traditional disc hinge with a ball joint. So you're very, this is a very, very traditional. It's a articulation point that we're very familiar with. But the range is fantastic. Look at that, up and down, left, right, everything. The shoulder, you do get butterfly joints, and the range on the butterfly is great. When he puts his shoulders all the way back, that's how far it goes from our top view. And when he shrugs forward, that's how far it goes. With elbows straight, he could touch his hands, which is all you can ask for a for a muscular character like Sergeant Slaughter, that's fantastic, right? Elbows are straight, yeah. Get the bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that can go about 45 degrees, I would say. Right, there you go, that's about 45, perfect. He's got a bunch of different hands, and depending on what hand you use, they have different articulation points. So for the trigger hands, he's got a left trigger hand and a right trigger hand. And for each trigger hand, it can go up and down. And for the other hands, it goes the side to side. Or is it this up and down, and that side to side? I should really figure out their anatomical definition for that, for these motions. Anyway, the ab crunch is phenomenal. You got 2 points of articulation in the abs, one in the middle of the top of the abdomen, one in the lower abdomen. They both turn, and they both articulate forward and backward. When you isolate the bottom waist and you crunch the top, he can go down that far, and he can extend that far back. And now when you isolate just for the bottom, he can bend that far, extend that far back, and crunch that far forward. And together, he goes that far down, and he can extend his back that far backwards. And it's just the amount of different poses you get. I mean, it's just fantastic. This face. This Sergeant Slaughter. Okay, and he does have drop down, although the drop down isn't very droppy. So I'm trying to pull the hips down, but it doesn't really matter because he can pretty much hit a split, even though the drop down hips aren't really being accessed, but he can hit it. And here's his Glen Webb. The furthest he can go down with both feet flat on the ground. There you go, not bad. Oh my God, he can almost go all the way down. He does have a thigh swivel that goes all the way around. We know that. We know how that goes. Double jointed knees. He could probably kick his own butt if not for these holsters on his thighs. These holsters I think are removable. Yeah, they are. They do come off, but I mean, I guess you could pull them all the way down. Yeah, I guess you could. Let me see how that looks. Okay. Well, at least now it won't hinder the articulation. And without the pack, he can't quite kick his own butt, but I mean, what's he gonna do? Ballet? That's without these straps hindering the bend of the knee, he can get pretty far up. He does have a boot swivel, and he does have, let me just take this off, and he does have ankle pivot, and we saw doing the Glen Webb split, and this is how far he can point his toes, and this is how high he can articulate. Look at that V. That's a great. This is I guess a range of motion, a bend that a lot of I think manufacturers neglect to do. They think, oh, you know, as long as they can pivot the ankle, give a little bit of range this way, a little bit of range that way, that's fine. But doing this motion gives you so much more options for posing. Let's see what it looks like with this hat on. These guys are like Cat brothers. They're both in the Marines. Okay. And when you could do that with the ankle, like I was just saying, it just opens the door for so many more posing opportunities. And it's just fun. It's just a fun figure, and you can do so much with these Valaverse figures. Again, I hope that the other, I'm definitely gonna pick up more. My curiosity has definitely peaked. I love this. It's good. I'm happy. So this is a great figure. If this is what the Valaverse Action Force figures have to offer, God bless. I'm on board. I'm gonna definitely get more. Can't wait to see what this line has in the future. Keep knocking them out. Keep hitting home runs like this, and you got a fan, brother. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll see each other soon.